So we have a couple of public hearing items. We have the Underground Utility District 18-1, Bridge Street, State Route 99 to 2nd Street. Ben, hi. Mike.
Okay, here we go. We'll start up. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. So the item before you is a public hearing to establish the Bridge Street Undergrounding District for the area from State Route 99 to 2nd Street. So a little background, PG&E allocates Electric Rule 20A funds through a program each year where they allocate different agencies money to facilitate future undergrounding projects. With that, in 2016, City Council recommended a priority list establishing Bridge Street for the priority project to use those funds. Currently, we have approximately $6.5 million in undergrounding credits, which is not enough due to inflation to do the whole corridor. But in order to move forward, staff is basically recommending to establish an undergrounding district so we could start the process to utilize those funds and start undergrounding phases of this district. And so in order to establish an undergrounding district, the municipal code establishes a process where we put out a notice and then conduct a public hearing. And then if a resolution is passed, we take that resolution, enter into an agreement, and then work with PG&E to start the design and construction process. The fiscal cost for the projects is primarily Rule 20A funds that are held by PG&E, where they will coordinate the design and the construction, where also the city has some funds will cost for undergrounding services to private facilities and moving streetlights around it. So with that, this is really just a step to establish this undergrounding district as to move forward with it, and then phase the project so we get the most bang for our buck, with phase 1 being the Gray to Cooper and phase 2 being the area from Shasta to 2nd Street. So when you're coming into our new design corridor, and then when you're coming into the city, you'll see those improvements done where they're undergrounding. And those two phases are really as far as the money is currently able to go. And so we want to establish the whole area as a district, but we're going to phase the approach to use the money for those two phases first. But we want to establish the district for the entire corridor to give us the flexibility if we need to go one pull farther. And then if the funds come, we could go a little bit farther with that district. So with that, I recommend you conduct a public hearing and then approve the actions as presented.
Great, thank you, Ben. Bring it back to council for any questions at this time. No? Okay. So we'll go ahead and open it to the public for anyone who would like to speak on this item. Public hearing is now closed. Back to council for any questions, considerations, motions.
Through the mayor.
Yes.
Ben, first, I'd like to commend you on the process that we need to move forward on this rather quickly, as the 5 phases of Bridge Street are not completed yet, but will hopefully soon be completed. The section between Plumas and Cooper is certainly of concern, and that is one that probably is going to take a while longer to be able to complete that with the undergrounding. But I also look at that in many aspects, and one of them is a safety aspect in getting the utilities moved and all of the overhead out of the way. Obviously, it wasn't overly apparent to us before we went into reconstruction of that phase of Bridge Street. But once that was done, the lines and the poles certainly became very apparent to all of us that needed to be done. And whatever we can do to move forward and even obtain other credits in the process to be able to move that process forward. Certainly, I know Live Oak has gone through a recent process with undergrounding in which they found additional credits that had expired, but they have to be given back to Live Oak. So that may be a process that we can look at in the future.
Absolutely. With this project last year, Sutter County, we coordinated with Sutter County to obtain about $900,000 in credits from their available portion that didn't go to Live Oak. And we'll continue to look for those opportunities. I've seen interesting stuff where different agencies have purchased credits for cents on the dollar. So we'll continue to look at that to try to maximize.
I think that's the advantage that Live Oak has put out there to assist in their project also. So thank you for looking at that. With that, I'd move the staff's recommendation.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
I think we need a public hearing. We already did that.
Did we? There's too many things going on. I apologize.
He's already retired.
You've already retired.
That's
You
right.
gotta finish
Why
this
am I?
meeting.
Why am I here?
You gotta finish this meeting. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Great, thank you, Ben.